it seems like there's a lot of mass this year,
Yeah.
especially on white oaks. A lot of the trees we saw.
You believe, not that you believe like as if it's some sort of like subjective opinion, but tell me more about white oak versus red oak, and because you were getting really excited when you're just white oak,
dude. White oak.
Oh my god, it's holding.
Meat in the freezer.
So happy I'm on lunch.
It's so stupid. I think it might work.
Chaos, like every hunting season.
Seems like it's not going anywhere, but it also seems like it could go somewhere.
He lost his paper bag, I swear.
I would not. I'm actually pretty good directionally.
Like, and you're like, oh. And so let's talk about food sources for a second.
Let's heat it up here. So I think it is subjective how excited I got about white oaks, because we're in the Nicolet, like up north, there's not white oaks. Like I had never seen a white oak tree till I like moved down here.
They do exist,
dude. They're everywhere. And then when you find those big fuzzy caps, I was like, oh my god, white. And you always hear like, deer love white oaks, deer love white oaks.
My dad has been obsessed with acorns since forever.
Well, we're standing on a beautiful patch of white oaks. This branch just probably came down with the storm that blew through yesterday, but there are some acorns on it. So it's a good sign. There's a whole bunch of white oaks right here. We just got into this little patch. So I'm gonna take a snoop around, see what we see.
Gotta find the acorns. Acorns. They love acorns. I'm like, do they love them that much?
Oh God,
like,
yeah.
What's going on here? Because this is one of those things where, are big deer really that hard to kill? Are they really that? And I'm like, well, once I experienced, I was like, yeah, people are right. They really are. So this is another learning point for me.
Yeah. So there's tons of red oaks in certain areas in northern Wisconsin, but they're not everywhere. Like some forests are just like maple forests and there's no oaks. But we've hunted a lot of red oaks, like tons of sheds. Like if you find a place that had an abundance of oaks during November dropping, like red oaks, and there's acorns left over, like you'll go in there in the winter and there could be a foot of snow and there will be leaves on top of the snow. It'll be ripped up because those deer will dig for those acorns. So we found tons of antlers on deer feeding on acorns. Biggest deer I've ever shot in Wisconsin was on an acorn ridge that my dad stumbled across, and it looked like a spot where two huge bucks were fighting. And there was like a giant rub line coming across. He's like, we got to go hunt this. We hunted it, and the deer that we had known about forever came out on that ridge. So I was assuming he was the one that won the fight. Wow. But that was all based off of food, off acorns. And both of your cameras are right under white oaks.
That is something that I'm like, oh, they're both. Well, the island one maybe is not as food centric. It is, but the other one's like 1,000% food centric. You know,
for sure.
And if they don't hit that scrape that we made, we're not getting them on camera because that camera's pointed at the scrape with nothing else.
Which did have like 3 trails coming right to that point.
Yeah, too. And hopefully that's all good. And so the other thing that you mentioned, like the beans are going to brown up and stuff. So a younger me would have just, and I had done this, I would hunt over the field edge. And that's just what you think to do because that's what you see people when they're glassing, when you're glassing, when you're watching, that's where the deer are. It's open, my shot. There's nothing blocking my shot. The deer always come to the field at night. I'm driving on the road. The deer always come to the field. So you just have that in your brain. Yeah. And I think that does happen for a while until it doesn't.
Well, that's such a tricky one because you sent me videos of some pretty huge freaking deer out in a field. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like in broad daylight, but like hunting that. So like we got to see like way off in the distance, there's some egg fields and when we drove around and like, could there be a big buck that comes out to there like opening weekend? There could be. But like my experience is like the big ones are always like if you hunted in the first white oak from cover, like that one spot we found like some bedding, then there's a white oak. You could hunt in that tree and they could never make it to even that tree in daylight.
Yeah, right.
Like they could just linger in the cover. Like that's been always my experience. I've never had like the good luck of, well, yeah, he just came out right into the easy spot. Like this just never happened for me. I have friends that happens for. It just doesn't. Like, I just abandoned that a long time ago.
But I do think that a majority. I'm also thinking about like, and I actually probably thought more about this than deer, which is funny because public land is crowded. I don't care where you go, it's going to be pressured, and so I do put a lot of energy and effort into like how do I mitigate pressure, which is why I like the water access. Yeah. Though a lot of people are doing it. Fewer are doing that than just parking and walking. Like it is less, and it's still a lot of people in general. But then I'm like, how are other people going to approach this? I think a lot of folks are going to just go to the hardwoods. And I've validated that the property I've been hunting the last couple of years. I had a guy tell me, he's like, I'm going to here, pal. And he walked past Greg, and that's where he was going. Like, he didn't lie to me. He did what he said he was going to do. And he like that's what most people are going to do. And I was like, listening to, this has just been soldered into my mind now. Hunt the thick stuff that is not really that easy or even remotely possible to set up. And not so thick that you can't get a shot up, but so thick that like you're not setting up in a tree. Or like if you are, it's
but you've had action out there.
So much, dude, so much action.
Bucks, and you've gotten shots.
It's very much validated for me. So now I'm like getting really keyed in on, you can actually see my strategy shifting. So I still don't know a lot of the finer detail things. Like you're still looking at like, dude, this branch is broken here on this path. That's because there's antlers coming through here. I'm still not there completely, but the hunting public put out a video that, of course, I've been watching it lately because like this is the time to get all jazzed up about stuff. But they did it like paying attention to details video, and it was pretty great because one of the posts was like, segments or whatever was, there were 3 paths. It was a bit watery and muddy, but this path, the mud was still disturbed under the water, and those ones weren't. And that's the path we chose to follow, and that's where he got a deer. And I'm like, of course that makes sense. But if you're not slowing down and paying attention, you have to learn about this stuff either from something like that or from someone like you or whoever is your mentor or experience to then know to pick up on it. So I'm still like, there's a lot of stuff that I don't know what I don't know, so therefore I'm not keying into it. But when I learn something, I'm starting to key into things.
Well, and there's almost like a
progression or something,
a sequential order in which is most beneficial to learn it, but like you don't have control over that all the time. You know what I mean? Like, so one of the things I want to bring up, one of the things that you just talked about, and one of the things I didn't talk about when we were scouting, but it was in the back of my mind, and both of them relate to Brian Dombrowski.
Okay.
Shadow Pursuits on Instagram. If you do not follow Brian, please go follow Brian and just watch his Instagram stories. You will learn more about big bucks in the next season than you will learn from anyone else in Wisconsin. No doubt.
Sound like we need a round 2 with him on.
Brian's
DP.
Amazing. Yeah, he's super relatable, super humble, super nice guy. But we did that Onyx event, and Brian was one of the guest speakers. And he picked all these spots. He picked a public marsh that he doesn't hunt that was close to where we were for the seminar. And he just broke down the marsh into spots that he liked, spots that he thinks bucks live. And like he went through it. And people were like, he was explaining it, and you could just see people's minds like,
light bulbs are turned on.
Like I didn't even like, that makes total sense. And like he sat down, we had a short amount of time. We had like 15 minutes. And I spent like the first 4 minutes like praising Brian and being like, guys, did you notice like every spot Brian had picked looked like the ugliest spot on a map you would ever see? Like they looked ugly. He picked the shittiest spots. Like there's something to that. He didn't pick any that were going to be like in beautiful stands of hardwoods that were going to be like easy to set up.
Not to say that can't work, but like.
No, but like this guy is on big deer all the time. Yeah. He picked ugly spots. And one of the other things, his favorite spots was within 100 yards of private. And while he was talking, I brought up, I was like, do you find that a lot of big deer bed close to the property line? He's like, oh, absolutely. Where did we find all those big tracks? The trail paralleling the private property, which was in the back of my mind. I like that spot for that camera. But deer love, that's an edge. Like we don't think about that as like a wooded edge.
They actually created an edge.
It's a pressure edge. They did there too. But I mean like deer know that like things don't cross this, like either things come in from this way or things come in for this way.
So they kind of get pushed there just naturally.
If they live that line, there's safety on either side depending on where it's coming from. But like those lines, they figure out real quick.
Deer live their life 1/4 acre at a time.
1/4 acre. I wish I could do that.
They live that line.